Hi everyone, this is Tanya from You and Your Witchy Stuff, and thank you for watching. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, thanks for returning and watching my rambles. So this is my end of the month, end of April month vlog. So I'm going to do this a little bit differently. This is going to include my general monthly tarot theme, as I've been enacting this year, 2024, to kind of keep my decks in rotation, familiarity, and just a theme because I love music. I inspired by lyrics or songs to pick certain what I call daily foundational decks or supporter decks. Now, generally at any given time, I may be using 10 different decks, but I have these are my course for this month. So this month's theme, and I'm also going to be, before I get to that, and I jump ahead of myself, because we know these videos can be rather long because it's a vlog, laid back. I'm enjoying a cup of lovely wildflower tea that my cousin sent me, as he got from one of our best friends for his birthday and wanted me to partake and try it too. It is lovely. It is by Bigelow. It is wildflowers. It's got a nice mixture, like temperance, of different herbs and wildflowers. And it's non-caffeinated. So, lovely. So while I take it here, because I already did my weekly reading, I just uploaded, and I have time to do this, time and ability to do that, and enjoying the beautiful weather. Oh, I'm still filming. Then I'm going to go on this, and I'm going to be showing this month, besides the decks that I'm using, I'm going to show quickly some of, not a full flip throughs, but just a few of the decks that I have obtained this month, and in my ever-growing collection and hoarding. And I love my tarot and my oracle and my crystals and my tools. I love them all. They all have different purposes at different points and are part of my toolkit. And then I have also purchased a few things along the line. Now, some of these things were definitely gifted to me by my husband, primarily. Some I had some money saved or I've earned from card readings and such, because some of these things I'll be showing are from small businesses within my area or within my general area that I'm fortunate enough to have some metaphysical and witchy and amazing, one of the most amazing crystal stores in the world. Sticks and Stones in Waterville, New York. John, the proprietor, he's extremely reasonable, knowledgeable, and just all around fun. This is where some of this stuff will be coming from. And Earthbound Metaphysical in Syracuse, New York. It is an amazing store. It's got a tea shop in it, or a tea section, a gorgeous section is set inside, and now they are offered outside. I believe it's called the Cracked Kettle, which is within it. The proprietors are brother, sister, and a couple. Amazingly nice, knowledgeable, friendly, and approachable. Not like some of these ones that kind of have a gatekeeping mentality in the wrong way. There is a purpose for gatekeeping, and there's not. So I recommend checking out Earthbound Metaphysical, or even checking out their site. Again, they're in Syracuse, New York. They have an amazing selection across the board of pagan items, and of voodoo, hoodoo, witchcraft, and stuff. But they're artfully, and it's all the experience. And to me, that store is better than many of the stores I've encountered in Salem that can be quite a bit touristy, overly priced, or have the same rotation of items, where this one kind of can vary, and they keep growing and changing in a wonderful new experience. And of course, Sticks and Stones, he has a trillion crystals and trinkets and curios and oddities and experience overall. It's small. It is something you would just imagine like in a movie. So I am fortunate and blessed to have those types of things, and the opportunity to visit those with my husband and one of my best friends. So this month April has found me. I'm still struggling to find a job. I'm just making sure I'm filming. Struggle is real. Let's just say that. Yeah, I'm fucking frustrated, flustered, these jobs are making me, making not just me, I'm sure everybody, that everybody is applying to it. It's not just me. I'm not going to sit there and be, woe is me. But they're making you jump through hoops and things that are very unreasonable for what the job description is and the pay entailed. And at least I finally got the cards, and my spirits admit that I am being blocked for various reasons. Some of it I actually got clarity on and making sense. But I'm working through it not only as on a mundane level in being persistent, but with my spirits, my guiding team, my husband, and those that support me, which I'm very fortunate on. Any support in this life is uplifting, and kindred spirits, kindred people. So that is my job thing, the constant struggle. I've had some, I'm dishonest here because this is me, the unfiltered me. I had many breakdowns, but I'm learning, growing, healing. And I think that's a big purpose of all of these blocks too, is to see what I can handle in my nervous system, but to shed that old stuff. No one needs to hold on to that. And it's also clarity because I'm finding more the real me, including still working on the Pride Challenge. So let's get into this. So real quick, the decks, my theme this month was basically Burn, or by The Cure, the song The Cure, because it is from the Crow movie, and I associate all that. I was, as if you watch any of my previous videos, I am a 90s girl, so teenager. So I love the aesthetic, the darker aesthetic, the gothic aesthetic. It's what I wanted to be as a teenager. I had some of the experience, but I grew up in a fairly small area, still am in one, and very sheltered and very restricted. Let's just say that by one of my parents was extremely restricted and disciplined and rigid and abusive. But that's for those are for other times. You don't need to hear that because we're already on going 8 minutes. Just checking because sometimes I have recording and rambling and then nothing there. So I'm not going to go over, this is not a full review or flip through. These are just showing what I used. So again, I'm into that aesthetic, that feeling. It appeals to me. I'm in work with the underworld deities primarily. And through darkness you find light and illumination, as Hecate is one of my patron deities. So just a few ones. I just got this one yesterday in my readings. I think some of these are upside down, so let me flip. Yeah. I do not love the backing on this deck. It is low Scarabeo. I do not love this one. This is some of their older cardstock. It warped and bowed like after having a week or two. I found this deck from Racine from All Moon 513, as many of my decks have been inspired to get because of her reviews and showing them. I was glad I found this, but this was actually gifted to me a couple months ago by my cousin, who is a fellow collector. The one that introduced me to this tea. So this, of course, pairs very well with Murder of Crows. And, of course, the Haunted Manor Oracle. They are basically a nice, perfect match. But this does work with many other decks also. The guidebook sucks. I'm just brutal and honest. But I just go by the companion cards that I pull and, of course, my guidance and intuition. It's generally what it is. It's the art, the aesthetic, and the intuitive hits that I get. So again, that's a deck, one of the decks I used, the core decks for the month of April, that's inspired by the Curacao Burn. If you don't know it, check it out. It is fucking divine in everything. Definitely one of my most favorite Curacao, but also one of my favorite songs of all time and from that era. Okay, so that's that deck. Again, just showing, not a review. Maybe some point I will do a full review of this. One of my actual spirits loves this deck. He claimed it too, but he's very generous spirit versus other ones, so he's pretty agreeable. which I love, and I kind of need that in my life. So the other one is Murder of Crows. I'm not going to show much of this because I'm sure there's lots and lots of videos of this deck out there, including on, as I said, Moon 513's channel. This deck is black and white. It's low Scarabeo. I like this card stock much better. I got this last year. This is a clear reader. It likes to read for other people. It can be a bit dark because not just the color aesthetic and the black and white, but it can also be very, because of the mass. It's meant for shadow work. Now, most of my decks I don't just use for that, but they can be, but I use them more on a regular applicable level. I love crows, of course, and hence the theme and the energies. But this deck is great. It's got a great jumping off point in the guidebook. A little message and story and meaning that can give a great journaling prompt or jump off and intuitive hits. Like this is one of the cards that reminds me of the goddess Hel, the giantess Hel from the Nordic mythologies that I work with. And so it's another point. There's several cards in this deck. Not just specific for her. I actually use, I can't think of it at this point, but yeah. One of Kim Krantz's decks. I think Wild Spirit, I don't know. But no big deal. Most of us that are card collectors or readers or enthusiasts do know who Kim Krantz is. I love this card. Of course, shadowy. So I'll show one more, and of course, love that. So that's one of my favorite decks overall, and one of my favorite readers when I bring to read for like public events and readings more so on that. And of course, just a straight shooter for me. It comes out different points at different times, and so and it's a mass market, just as the Dark Angel says. So let's move forward quick. Since we're on the cards, I'm going to the cards I've obtained in the month of April. And so this one is real quick. There's several by the name of the Black Tarot, but this one is there's a version for like ancestors and such. You can find it Barnes and Noble. No, I'm big into artwork and aesthetic. Excuse me, tarot and oracle are for works of art and peace, but it should be what speaks to you, because each of us is different, and especially as a reader and a collector, you get intuitive hits, the value of the art and of the creator, and what speaks to you and on your journey and as a tool, not just as that. Now this deck it's very abstract, it's black and white, it is also a mass market, it is by Victoria Eva, and look at the backings. Looks like marbling, black marbling, or mirroring. This one's very abstract. It is black and white, but I love, of course, we know black's my favorite color. If you watch any of my previous videos, I do wear color on occasion, like today's bubblegum pink. But yeah, this is abstract. It kind of gives me it's like meant to be goth, but it kind of gives me like an alien sort of spirit, like spirit meaning underworld spirit, guide. If you work with the infernals at all, or of that nature, they like to speak through this deck. Cardstock is nice. It does stick together a bit, but it's well made, reasonable price point. This may or not be your cup of tea, but I work with this deck. Guidebook is great. Some of the, it's very RWS inspired. I purchased this my own self. It's very liminal, which of course, since I work with Hecate, Underworld, that's probably why I'm in such a traditional, constant cycle over and over and confronting, but it's what I'm called to, and it's my purpose. but it's very liminal for those reasons and others. Plus, it's great for journeying and meditation and just staring at and figuring. Each time I get a different hit, intuitive view before I go to the guidebook. But I do use the guidebook. It is valuable with this type of deck. Just about a page, but different little key points and things that are effective for working with the deck. I was never much into black and white decks before, but yeah, Murder Crows changed that for me. I don't own many. I think it's my second or third, but yeah. So this is the Black Tarot. Just a few to show you. First one I purchased. This next one it was a gift from my husband. I've been wanting it for a while. This is like an inner child deck type of thing for me. This is common, so I'm not going to show all of these. It's the Halloween Tarot. My inner child, I'm working with that and that type of energy, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, of healing, growth, perspective, integrating and healing in my shadow work, in my journeying, and confronting but understanding. And I think that's a part of what I've been going through a lot, is mentioned. For this, sorry about that close up. Just making sure I'm filming and rambling and keeping just time. I'll probably keep you here for a bit, but oh well. But I love the colors, the imagery, since I was born in '79, since we all know I'm 45. I was an 80s child in schools back then. They had a lot of Halloween parties and parades and fun, which we all know. Halloween and Samhain is my favorite, not just because I'm a witch, but just the energies overall, the cider, the apples, the donuts, the crisp air, the change of seasons, the liminal. But I also love this. My inner child loves this because it reminds me of the Halloween, those weird vinyl costumes that were kind of hot, sweaty, but the masks and stuff back then, of the colors of being a child, the wonder, the joy. And this deck has one of my favorite types of wands. The suit names are changed, and I love the wands are imps, and I think that's my favorite in this deck. But it's so cute and so fun and so campy. And while I think because I'm healing a lot of trauma, this is actually helping me to get clear. This is just a regular mass market one. My husband bought this for me in Barnes & Noble because he's known I want it for a while. Sort of a thing to cheer me up and boost that, and he knows that I'll get value and work for it in my collection. So again, this is the Halloween Tarot. Very evocative of my childhood. What I'm trying to heal is when you grow up in a place where you're the oldest child, if you are in a family that has multiple children, or you have parents or situations where you see a lot of trauma, you experience that. Abuse, severe discipline, you're not allowed to be a child, and you see things you shouldn't see, experience, or feel with situations going around with you in adult content. You tend to internalize it or not vocalize it because in the fear of speaking your truth or expressing. So then it manifests in different ways as you grow up and as an adult. And if you have the best gift you can give yourself is to acknowledge, heal, give yourself grace and compassion, and work through those and break those cycles. Don't be like what you were in, because you're not, and that should not define you. So this is the Halloween Tarot. I use this for like a Six of Cups energy, healing, integrating. It makes me smile, especially with this job thing. So that was in the month of April. Next deck, I got a few. Let's see here. Actually, I showed 3, so I got just one more. Yay! Okay. Well, one fell on the ground. Can't reach down and do this. I'll probably knock my ass and knock over everything. And it's kind of breezy and windy here, so I don't want my stuff to blow away. So this is the Gothic Oracle by Anne Stokes. Another mass market deck. I was wavering on the fence of this to and from for a long time. I watched several walkthroughs. Sometimes it appealed to me, and then it didn't, and then it clicked with me not too long ago. About a week or two ago, I got this. Same time that I got the Halloween Tarot. Now, this is also a very, to me, inner child. I was always into unicorns. Pegasus still am. Horses, love them. I never owned any, but I've had I'm not a professional or a great rider, but I've had the opportunity throughout the years to experience them, ride them, and be in their beauty. And unicorns are some of my guides. On the astral, and we're always there for a reason. Healing, beauty, fantasy, intuition, guide, wisdom, strength. So this deck reminds me of my inner child and my inner teen. I pulled this one today. Amazing message today. I love the guidebook. But my inner child and teen is like goth with fairies, winged angels, cemeteries, magic, wisdom, beauty, dragons, that. Colors in this too. I like the cardstock in this deck. I pulled that one last week. My spirit guides do like to communicate through this, and that's how I believed in this type of imagery that reminds me of being an 80s child and a 90s teen. That always appealed to me. I believe that's how my guides communicated with me, or that's what I've been realizing now. And look at this. Love, love, love. Love this one. Kind of reminds me of Hades, whom I work with. That kind of this goes well with the Dark Angels Tarot, the Hunts. Look at that card's a perfect example. And one more just to show you. Now, I get more of an intuitive hit from the images and then go to the guidebook, as the guidebook is amazing for that, as the titles don't just necessarily do any justice on that, but definitely a recommendation if you're into this type of art, into fantasy, or grew up in the era. Yeah. So those are my decks. Okay, just 24 minutes. So let's try to get through the last part of this overall. I've also had opportunity to, as I mentioned, go on this month with the weather improving a lot in April. I've went on several walks with one of my best friends. She's a great listener, supporter. She helps heal me. She's an example of a great female presence in my life besides my mother and my sister. And even my mother-in-law, those who are kind, caring, compassionate, healing, full of wisdom, laughter, joy, great listeners. We support each other, we lift each other up. So I did that yesterday because it was really warm here where I am. We went for a walk in the public park, not far from here, with coffees. We're both out of shape. That's why I'm trying to do that, amongst other things, plus get into nature more and get more physically active, and of course lose weight, as I'm very short and I need to lose weight for many reasons. So I've been able, that's one of the many things I wanted to add to this vlog, is that I've been pushing forward with motivation, slow, steady baby steps. I'm honest and real that I'm going through an extensive shedding and growth period now for a couple of years, but more so for probably going into a year and a half now. And started a couple years before that because, of course, I almost died due to my health reasons and diabetes. So real quick here, let me pull these out first. What I got from Earthbound Metaphysical, I mentioned they're in Syracuse. I love obsidian. If you watch any of my previous videos, you'll know that's one of my top 5s, one of my recommended. I'm very much into black stones. That's what just always, I have a huge collection of various stones. But my workings, one of them is obsidian, and in my top 3, I would have to say too, is obsidian. I found this lovely necklace to wear. Now I got a bracelet for one of my spirits that I wear on occasion. I have several crystals that I wear and work with at different occasions, or as I'm called or guided to, with obsidian. But I wanted one of a certain caliber, and this was $10. So it's everything. I do have to charge it around the new and dark moon, so I haven't worn it yet, but next week, once other magic, I have to start in the new moon, which I'm going to be going back to Earthbound Metaphysical to get the needed herbs for the spell that will be enacted on the path of obtaining a job and staying financially secure. So I can get fun stuff and support my bills, but also these things I desire. Yeah. I get a bunch of different incense from them, so I don't need to show those, but a bunch of loose incenses. One that reminded me of like when I was 18 to like 24, some of the stores and coffee shops and things I hung out with. Oh my gosh, my husband Matt, he found it when we were searching through, and the scent hit me, but he was able to help me discern which one it actually was. So he's a great partner and husband in my life, and also helps to feed my addictions. So I got this. This is for a full moon, but ritual mullein. But I don't know if I'm going to use the torch for that or not. I'm going to have to see how I'm guided with that. Of course, mullein, very associated with Hecate, who is my patron goddess, as I mentioned. And I am fortunate enough at points, I hope I'm blessed again this year, with the wild mullein that grows randomly in my yard. I have one on my altar. These are also known as hag tapers. This is dipped in wax. I also bought it, to be honest, to study it, so that way I can make my own if I'm blessed with the mullein again, which I hope to be. If not, then I'll find another way to obtain it on a feasible and ethological level and reasonable. But I will be using that a lot with my work with Hecate as a torchbearer and illuminator on my path. She who walks with me. I'm not subservient or fully worship my deities. More like we both have a healthy interaction support system, respect, reverence, and they walk with me and guide me, and we all walk together on this path of life, and as, of course, a practitioner. So I got a couple incenses from them. From Sticks and Stones, I got, because I was being frugal, but I like to support them. They're the ones in Waterville, close. Both are not far from here, but both are water. It's getting windy here. Time to be wrapping up, I guess. So, just real quick, I love this company's incense. So this one I got was Rose. I work with Venus. So this is to honor her, and of course, who doesn't love Rose, especially this time of year. And of course, it promotes self-love and healing, and just a great incense. It works great in the black backflow burners. And of course, Night Queen. Lovely at Brindleton yesterday before I went on my walk in the park with my friend. Before we went for coffee and such. And then I got this, which I had red coral before. This is red coral. I was never it felt like a piece of plastic to me. Hey, it probably could have been like some type of form or fake, who knows. But I was attracted to it, and then because someone else was attracted to it, I gifted that to them. So it found a new home. So just sitting there. So that was great, and a great resourceful thing, and a great thing it was guided towards. But also, with that being said, I found this. So it felt like bone. I knew obviously it wasn't carnelian, jasper, or any of those things, but it had a bone feeling to me. So when I did go up to John, who is the owner of Sticks and Stones there in Waterville, I asked, and he's like, it's petrified red coral. I was like, wow, okay, I've never heard of petrified red coral. But I was so attracted to it. And his prices are extremely reasonable. And of course, I love to support his store. Don't mind my nails, but I love to support his store. And I love the little, I don't know if you can see with these little symbols on this. I do have to obviously clear and consecrate this. But it is beautiful, and I believe it's great because it's going to not only work for grounding me, which I constantly need, being an extreme energetic sponge and intuitive and psychic. That's one of my main things in this life, and one of my gifts and abilities, and helping others. But it can also come with a lot of side effects, especially not being grounded in reality. It's going to help me to stay grounded on my purpose and push forward with will. But I also feel, because of the red and the fire, kind of the lust, the Venusian energies in this is amazing. I got this, and I got it for a great price. And while my friend and me were in this store, we encountered what I assume is another practitioner. If you're like me and you're a witch and stuff, or just a regular, you're not a practitioner, that's not your belief, but your intuition kicks in at your first encounter with someone. Probably it's right, and you should trust it. I get a weird vibe from her, like off-putting and such. And then she started, out of randomly, when the owner was at the store, started saying, which one of you is psychic? Which one of you, is intuitive? And I said, me. And she asked me what it was, what I did. So I did. And then it started getting really weird. And I realized she was pulling energy. She was nice, but then she started asking questions she probably shouldn't have. So therefore, I did. If all of you know how that goes, if you're a practitioner. It's always, sometimes those encounters are great, and to encounter someone like yourself. And then at other points, be wary. That's all. So intuition's there as a guide. So with that being said, I thank you all here for joining me on my April vlog. I hope that next time when I do a vlog in April, at the end of May, because I don't edit my videos, but May, that you will, or that I will find, and you'll hear that I actually found a job or career that I've been searching for over 6 months, and that I'll still be able to pay my bills and responsibilities, which, yeah, I got myself in a fucking hole. But I also take responsibility. But reality is you need money to survive in this world in these ever-rising costs. So I hope we'll find that with me more working out, walking, and getting healthier, should I say, as a woman, witch, and spiritual being. Hopefully not obtaining too many thousands of decks. And I hope you all have a great upcoming week and month as we all move forward through Beltane, a hinge day, and we move forth through to the season of summer and good times and healing energy, and going forth and in love and support and building our foundations and learning and growing. And with that, I hope you all find yourselves well. And if you do like this, please like and comment below, and subscribe to my channel to help it grow. And blessed be.